Do you have a recommendation for the park that you introduced us all to?
The park that was over there in the,
Your homeless park?
I believe they said it was just part of the name.
Greenway system.
The Greenway system. The name that I was, thinking of was, Missionary Hope Park.
Missionary Hope? So we have a name that we could recommend?
Yes.
If they were willing to move forward with that plan?
And the reason that I recommend that is that, just to the north of there, I believe on the corner of, First Street and, 13th, that's where the, one of the elders that founded the church that's right across the bridge. And just south of that, south of, where, St. John is, that's where the founder of St. John is. So there was, also, at the end of the street, there was a mason, and his house is a historic one. I believe that's one of the houses, the Murph House. And he paved the streets in the city. So what he did was he paved from there all the way down to where his mother's house was. And that's pretty much where the park is.
Is he still alive?
No, his son is and his granddaughter lives there. But
Are they interested in putting their house on the register?
I don't think they can live there. But they're aware, what we're doing, because they're right behind us.
Yeah, did you
And
read,
their house is older than ours.
you read the internet or the email exchange between staff? They went back and forth on that whole thing. But they don't seem to have, Jay, they don't seem to have a comprehension of the history of that park and why it was brought up, why Victor brought it up.
No, not at the moment, but we had some findings that currently that piece is used for, and it eventually will be even more further used for the utility purposes. The fence is there because of the site security and safety as well, and then it's monitored by the park ranger. And the gate is controlled also by the park ranger, and then PD regularly visit the sites. Now, naming the park based on information from the Parks and Rec Deputy Director, Frankie Lazo, and he said this is something that needs to be discussed with the city manager's team, and ultimately deliver the message to the city commission.
So perhaps we need to participate in writing a report for them,
Yes.
so they can understand.
Yes, and what we can do is, if once I have that, we have great documents from the Mr. Nofus last time, but even further, how you like to do it, based on these historical findings. We can forward this one to Parks and Rec team, and the Parks and Rec team, and then take us to naming the park. But it's definitely ultimately discussion with the city manager as well as the public city commission.
Sure. Would you have an interest in helping with that?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, good. The significance of it, what you'd like to see done with it, and, make a multi-layered report. Do people still come there and, looking for help?
Well, like she says, the park ranger determines when it's closed and open.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's open, sometimes it's closed, but yeah, I'll work with that.
So it's the kind of fence that they can't jump?
All the fences on that street are at least 8 feet tall.
Oh my gosh, okay.
So the ones on the other end, when they lock that one, they're pretty tall, so
Gotcha.
no one's jumping that fence.
I gotcha.
It sounds like if we want to make a recommendation of a specific name, they're gonna want to know why you want that name. And you talked about that last time, why you want Missionary Hope on the name.
Right.
So that's probably what you need to write about, right?
Well, he's got
And make
to,
that recommendation.
whatever he showed us last time, is a really good start. The only thing to add to it is what what can we recommend, what can they do with it? I mean, from a
Well,
liability issue, I don't know.
Just from listening to what she's saying, it would be a dual use, mainly whenever the maintenance or the city needed to utilize it, they would lock it, and if the park ranger felt it was available, they would open it. Is that pretty much how it works? Because I think sometimes it's open to the public, sometimes it's not.
Correct, that's our understanding from the, Parks and Rec. They're the one, email us, what we can do, once, you email us, give us a little more information to have, so I can see your face. I mean, if you wanted moving forward with naming this park, definitely what you can do, we can have the Parks and Rec department reach out to you, and they're the one who has to really walk through with you, through the city manager's office, as well as city commission, so.
Okay, because I was thinking to continue using it for a dual purpose. The park could be like the Heritage Park, it's a non-gathering restive park, because at Heritage Park, you can't really congregate there because there's some type of park where it's just a restive park or a motor
Passive,
park.
yeah,
Passive park, right, but no one actually does anything there, but you can come there, memorialize whatever, so that would be an ideal,
Are people going to that park to access the trail?
Yes,
Okay, so that's probably where a lot of people are using it for.
yeah, and also that piece of land is, used for the utilities,
Right, so it's a dual purpose.
yes.
Whenever the utilities need it, it's shut down. Or whenever the park ranger decides to shut it down or open, it's shut down or open.
But I'm assuming it's open, it looked like from the communication here, it's open certain hours during the week, usually, so people can use it to get on the trail. And then they close it at night so people don't congregate there, is that correct?
Correct.
Would you like to,
And that's pretty much all the parks after dusk.
yeah,
Except that we got fences over there, but that's the only difference.
would you like to, make an appointment to meet with Frankie over at the park and talk to Frankie? Is that something we
Yes,
could
I
do?
can, what I can do is I can reach out to Frankie and then reach out to Mr. Nopus for further discussion.
Right,
And then, you can have like a mind building,
right. That's a good stuff.
reassure him that, we don't wanna take it over.
So the
No,
process,
it's
so the
just-
process for this is that after they
Recognizing
meet,
story.
then it goes before the commission, some kind of recommendation, and they're the ones that make a decision, or?
I would not fully know what the process is, but the message that we got from the Parks and Rec, Assistant Director, that is the city management and as well further and the city commission. I believe city commission is make the decisions on the naming, but it is definitely go through that route. So what I can do is, again, I can find out more on the process as well as, have a Parks and Rec, contact you for further discussions or decision.
Well, my recommendation would be that after you've met with somebody from Rec and Park, that you bring your report back to us, and we can make a recommendation for you to take to the city manager. How's that? Does that sound good?
I
Or I'll just take it to him.
yeah, I don't think a planning and zoning staff can, present to change the name. That's not, it's, it's because we are under the planning and zoning staff cannot, behalf of the board and then, recommend it,
Are you our city liaison?
yes.
Then you get to do it.
Well, let me find more in the information.
Okay, very good. I will too.
Who do you pass the buck to?
No, I think that it's a good idea for you to bring your report back to us, and then,
Right.
we will recommend as a board.
Yeah, I would like to see in writing
Yeah.
the whole,
Process.
well, not just the process, but also, the connection with the church and that history.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'll look forward to it. Okay, anything else on that one? Are you okay with that?
Right.
Okay, good. Next up on the agenda is the Andrews House. I believe we have a human being here. Would you like to speak to us? Or do you wanna, Jay, do you wanna talk to us first?
Yes, so, no, you can,
Unless, of course, he's objecting to what we're doing.
and so we had a report from Warren, as it was attached to the meeting. This is solely for the experience. Right now, we had a meeting with the property owner, last week, and they are going to have, interior photos done, and then, share with Mr. Adams, Warren Adams, and he's gonna update his reports. And then once we have our updated reports, we will share with the board at the time. But we have applicants here to, discuss about what the options that the property owner is thinking about that, Andrew's house.
Okay, very good. Hi.
Hi, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, David Millage on behalf of the property owner, 14 Southeast 4th Street, Boca Raton. So, in spirit, I think the property owner thinks that the structure might have an opportunity of being designated. However, we do believe that the property does not qualify just purely based off of the city's own code. Now, even with this said, with the collaboration and cooperation with staff, we do have a suitable location for the structure to be relocated just north of Ocean. As part of this, we would be seeking for the city to assume the cost to move. However, we do wish to and will continue to work with staff related to the details and the options for such a move. Otherwise, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. I've really dove deep into this project and what's happening and the history of it. But I think right now we're just looking to continue to work with staff related to options and potentially moving the structure to a more suitable location.
Could you share with us where your visionary northern location would be?
So I believe it is at the northeast corner of Ocean and Southeast 3rd.
Oh, where the fourplex is?
I think just north of that building.
Oh, behind it.
And as part of it, the property owner would like to continue to be able to use this structure for a non-residential use once it's moved and potentially brought up to a commercial standpoint, structurally, material.
So he would not be surrendering ownership of the building?
No.
You just want the city to pay to move it?
If the city believes that it's a cultural asset, otherwise, purely based off of the code, we don't think it qualifies to even be designated.
From what respect?
So there's a couple. The city's code section 6B2, which says in part, structures that have been moved from their original locations shall not be considered eligible for designation.
It was moved there a while ago.
The property was moved May of 1998. So from that basis, it wouldn't qualify. Now, there are a few criteria that it could meet to then meet a burden to qualify it, but even based off of these A through G, our analysis is that it still wouldn't qualify.
So what use does he anticipate for the property once it's moved?
There's nothing at this time. It could be a general office, possible retail.
How about a museum? How about a museum?
It was a museum, wasn't it?
It was
Yeah.
shortly for about 2 years. I'm not sure of the circumstances of why it only lasted for those few years. But we are the owner would be looking at just continual use as a non-residential.
So once it's moved, he would incur the cost of restoring it to its historical setting in the past.
It would be brought up to building code.
Right. Okay.
Now,
And it would be preserved as, so that it keeps its historical integrity the way that it could be designated as a historic property and put on a register, right?
to the extent possible. Now, as staff had mentioned, the structural integrity of the structure is unknown. The exterior of the structure, as reported in your own expert's report, is for the most part has all been replaced. The interior of the structure during its renovation in 1999 or 2000, they went all the way down to the framing, so we don't really know what historical significance was left after that. So there's a lot of questions.
Good to know this. When you say down to the framing, I'm familiar with construction, you mean just the frame itself was left and then they replaced the wires, they replaced the wall, units?
From the, yeah.
Before it's put in the same wood or just whatever was available at the time?
From my understanding, based off of the information that I found in the city's library archives, is that it was demoed down to what we would call the studs.
Mhm.
And then whatever was salvageable, mainly the date pine, was kept, restored, and they try to use or find, thank you. Let's try to use or find more date pine to supplement whatever was deteriorated. So again, we won't know what the inside looks like until the property owner has his expert to go out there, look at it, see if it could be moved. I did do a visual inspection before I came in. There's a lot of dry rot. Part of the roof looks like it's caving in on the north elevation, or soon to be caving in on the north elevation. There's some issues with siding on the west elevation. So there's a lot to look at, whether or not it has any type of value of restoration.
So you would wait until that's done before moving it, right? You would make sure that it could sustain itself in the new location. And then once it's there, maybe this is a question for staff too, is there some kind of agreement then that the owner would make with the city not to tear it down next year or the following year or something else in the near future, but that it would, the process of designated as a historic landmark could go forward and that would stay there at least for a certain amount of time?
Well, that would be regulated by the city's own code. Once a structure is designated as historic, I believe there is a section that refers to how a designation could be removed. But any property owner or applicant would have to follow that procedure to do something like that.
But otherwise, they couldn't do that unless that was removed. Okay.
If it's designated by the city, then
All
we
right.
have to follow those procedures.
Does the developer intend to leave the fourplex there?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if they already came through with a site plan application regarding not only south of Ocean, but north of Ocean. Your staff might be able to opine on that. And again, I just wanted to be clear with the board. We're not here to be adversarial. I mean, if we can be able to move it, we would love to, with the help from the city.
Well, I'm looking at an overhead right now on property appraisers, and there's like nothing below it. Why don't you just scoot it to the very southernmost tip of it? There's nothing there.
Again, I'm not familiar with any site plans or approved site plans, but the most suitable place for the relocation would be at that corner based off of their plans.
Who owns that property, the city? Where they're moving, where they wanna move it?
No, it's owned by the developer.
By the same person who owns the house, so they have multiple properties in that
Yeah,
area.
they have an
Is it
assemblage,
the
so
whole thing?
they own everything north and south of Ocean between the railroad tracks and Third.
Okay.
So all of those warehouse buildings, the other multifamily or single family that are there, those vacant lots to the north as well.
It seems like an odd place for him to choose to put it if the plan is to demolish the fourplex.
I don't know what the status of the building will be.
Yeah.
Well, I know they're working on the fourplex, so they just made some modifications or changes to it.
Mhm.
So I don't think they would want to tear down something and just put money in. I'm sorry, I don't think they would want to tear down something and just put money in. I'm looking at the house and, I'm kind of thinking along your route, because the other thing is that I'm trying to restore a home as well, and, and, the wood that it's currently using is so dense and thick that there's no rotting on it. But the new wood is not as dense, and he explained it's the sap, the older wood was old wood, so it was thick, it's just like it was back then, so you would probably, if they preserved it, where they preserved, was it in patches, or was it at the bottom, or?
Well, for the exterior, based off of your expert report, it said from his visual inspection, it looked like the vast majority of the exterior material of the building had already been replaced.
So most of the exterior, 75-80%,
I couldn't tell you. You know,
is not original.
correct. So there's been other I believe that additional windows have been added on the north, south, and west elevation from the original plan. A doorway was removed from the north elevation. So there has been changes to the architectural design of the building from when it was originally constructed back in the early 1900s.
Did Warren actually give us a suggestion, I guess, we said if we had him review Warren Adams of Historia to take a look at it, or did he give any recommendation? I guess it's to the staff, but
It's in the report, he said he recommended.
he recommended,
Yeah.
was it based on the historical significance of the house?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay,
he thought it met the criteria necessary to
okay.
do that. I like the idea, I just would strongly encourage, once it's moved, that there be a public use of it, so that it's the oldest building in the city, and if it becomes a private office or something that the public doesn't have access, I think that would be a real shame. I think the history should be celebrated and people have an opportunity to interact with it. So I like the museum idea, or something similar to that, I think would be really great. I mean, it is a treasure, the house.
Yes, I'm not sure do you understand that that is like one of the last surviving structures, early structures in the city. There was a shipwreck called the Coquimbo. I don't know if you've become aware of all these things or not, but the wood that they salvaged from that shipwreck is in that house. That's how old it is. Like what, 1907, 08 or something? I don't know, we're looking at the overhead, certainly, there must be better places to move it to. Because look, there's nothing surrounding it, you just pick it up and put it further south. The city would probably be more amenable to that
Is
than
there,
trying to move it that far.
is there I don't think we were thinking about moving the house, or were we thinking about moving?
No,
Just
not at all.
So is there a, use he was gonna use the
the land for it, because it was originally moved from another location to this location. And so you want, if we were to preserve it, it would be moved, you would recommend that it be moved to that location. What he owns, the properties, all of these properties. So, I think sounds like we're kind of questioning on where and why. Does everybody agree that's like?
Well, there's a lot to be discussed yet.
Yeah, I guess the question is, why doesn't he wanna leave it there?
It doesn't wanna leave it there because it's impacting future development.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I mean,
Because
it's,
it's close to the train tracks, and that deteriorates the building also, if they're gonna start putting faster trains.
When, I've seen what was approved for this, does he plan to follow through with what was already approved?
I don't know anything about the site plan. I'm only here as it relates to the historical designation of the structure.
Because the plan that was approved was going to basically curl around the building, it was still going to be in its same spot. So if he's rethinking the site plan that he wants to do, perhaps this is a good time to talk about maybe there's a better place to move it to that's not as far away.
Yeah, I mean, I can bring it up to them to see what plans are, what the plans look like today, versus, you know, opportunities of having a different location. Again, I haven't reviewed their site plans as related to this, but based off of direction from the client, the location that they saw most appropriate for the building was on that northeast corner. Now,
If he's going to do a different plan, that's one thing. The original plan that's been approved already, the upper part of it from Boynton to Ocean was like the most important, active, busy, you know, the big one. So it's hard for me to see, you know, that's like putting a wart on a log right there. You know, I don't know are you an architect? What are you?
I am an attorney.
He's an attorney, not an architect.
I have a lot of experience in land planning.
Okay.
As it relates to architecture, I know a beautiful building when I see one, but otherwise.
You're hired. Okay, I don't
Where is
know.
it that we wanted or suggested that it be moved?
Well, it's all green, look, all they gotta do is scoot it to the very tip end of that.
Okay, you're talking about keeping it close to the train track and just moving it down, away from Ocean.
That would actually not require the whole wraparound scheme that they had previously. But, you know, he's a new owner, so yes.
Quick question. This may or may not be doable. The CRA owns property where the Magnuson House is. That is at the corner of Ocean and between First and Third. Private owner owns the property just to the west of that.
David's not gonna know about all that.
So that's,
But
And he's showing you on the thing.
yeah, I'm just kind of curious. I mean,
Going down
it
Ocean.
would be a long drawn out thing. You have two property owners move the property here. The property owner would have to purchase that land. I'm just thinking, if I was asked what the best location for that would be, across from City Hall, across from the amphitheater, and next to the Magnuson House, that would be my choice. Is it a long process where you folks would have to purchase the land? Probably. Is it doable? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out as a good, possible good location.
Who owns that land? CRA?
No, the CRA owns the Magnuson property, but,
That's
it is another investor,
that's another discussion.
right?
That's not for.
What you're trying to do is get the historic stuff together.
It's a good suggestion. I just don't know the economics of, how much is that property, what is the other owner looking to do with it, it's on a hard corner. So,
Is that the city's plan to make that a historic?
I know that would be a perfect spot for it right there.
I brought it up, but
Would
it's a long discussion.
But
He doesn't
that's
own
not,
land.
yeah, no, that's not what David's here tonight to talk to us about.
Okay.
Well, let's put it this way, we are willing to talk.
that's great.
You know, I mean, the structure is important to us,
Mhm.
you know. Is it sentimental? Yes. That still makes it important to the city though, you know?
And like I said, I think my office and the property owner are gonna continue to work with staff about, you know, what makes the most sense for
Mhm.
all parties involved. Location, process.
Who pays for what? I mean, State Historic Preservation Office had grant money available, $500,000, but it was a matching grant. You know, that grant cycle is closed now though, but they'll probably be opening another one.
Yeah, there might be funds through, the state or through TIF, that might be available. We're exploring options or opportunities.
Well, if he owns the fourplex at the corner, I can't imagine him leaving that there. You know, he probably doesn't own them, those are condos. And those people probably,
I don't know.
yeah, see, these are questions. We have an awful lot of questions and things that need to be worked out.
I mean, it kind of goes back to just being able to look at the interior of the building, look at the structural integrity of the building. It could just blow over in the next heavy storm. I mean, we don't know. We really need to look at this to see if it is, you know, viable to move it.
Well, thus far, it's been succumbing to demolition by neglect, which,
To add that, currently the property owner owns that fourplex.
he does.
Yes.
So it'd be a question of what.
So why would he leave, there's another word on the log right there. Why would he leave that there when Ocean Avenue is commercial frontage? Doesn't make sense. But what do I know? I'm not an attorney or an architect.
So
We
they,
have a historic house right here on the corner, that's Ocean Avenue, is a prime, but it's turned
So-
into a restaurant. So they could utilize something similar, but we
Well,
don't know.
these are all things that, you know,
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm willing to talk. You know, and search for grant money. I'm not willing to say, go ahead, knock it down. No, not yet. There have been things that were far less, still standing that were salvageable, okay? So it's not beyond being salvageable, it's still standing. It's withstood all the hurricanes, since then, it's withstood all those hurricanes.
I mean, yeah, it easily could, and I mean, whenever I went by there earlier, the AC was running. At least the outdoor fan was. Now, what it was doing inside, who knows, but,
Hopefully there's some damp ribs in there or something.
So you're gonna do your own review of it? yourselves?
yes, the
Is
property
there a
owner
timetable?
is coming out with their own expert related to the viability of it being able to be moved.
Is there a
So-
timetable for that?
From my understanding, they're looking to go out there sometime soon. I mean, I don't wanna give a time frame for sure, but from my impression, it was in the next few weeks.
And it sounds like from what you said, Warren is gonna go back in there and do another report on the interior,
Oh,
which
he's
is
gonna
something
get
I was
questions.
hoping would happen. Is that right? And then we'll hear, but Warren has to see his evaluation of the inside too.
yes, so the applicant side will take photos and videos and deliver to Warren, and then Warren will update the reports based on those photos and videos.
Okay, great.
And then share with us.
Have you looked at the plat, the piece of land? It's 2 chunks. Have you looked at it?
The old plat from the early subdivision?
No, what's, you know, the existing, that there's like nothing but grass around.
Oh, the-
shrubberies and
So
stuff.
the parcel that it's on right now,
Right,
yeah, it's the only one on the lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they own the entire lot.
I mean, yeah, he does, both up and bottom, top and bottom. The, when it was moved previously though, it was only moved 37 feet, on that
To
same
the east,
chunk,
correct.
so. I don't know, just, we need to talk, we need to jibber jabber some more and see if we can.
Yeah, I think we still need, it's still fact finding.
Right.
I think we still need to understand, again, what's the interior, the structural integrity of the building, the logistics, if it was structurally intact, the logistics, where to place it. So there's a lot to still discuss and.
I mean,
like I said,
if realistically, if the city were to pay to move it, we'd probably want it.
I can't speak for the property owner, but if the city had a piece of land they wanted to put it on, I don't really think that the owner would object.
Well, I'm glad to hear that at least he's willing to talk. That's where we're at, we're gonna talk.
Mhm.
But, please express our desire to, keep what we can.
Understood.
Anybody else have anything else for David?
Well, just what, on the shipwreck, I believe the bell is over at St. Pepper and some of the wood is in the old, women's club, isn't it? From the shipwreck also.
Possibly.
That would be a great.
But actually, I found the bell, I'll tell you about that.
So, there's still stuff related to
Well-
that shipwreck that are around, but this is the only, I think, intact structure that someone lived in.
Yeah, several important people, people important to the history of Whiting lived there. Do you feel like you've gotten enough information to?
Yeah, we'll, like I said, we'll keep working with staff and we'll figure out what's the best path forward. I know that there's no decision or recommendation tonight, this was just a discussion related to the findings of the report.
Opening the door, it's good,
Yes, ma'am.
it's good, please tell him we're grateful that he's willing to talk.
Yes, of course. Well, thank you very much for your time, have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you for coming.
thanks for coming, nice to meet you,
We were here early.
we'll see you before,
Exactly.
we'll see you again.
I'm sure Bonnie and
Yes.
everyone.
Yes. So, couple updates on old businesses. We have a 413 North East 12th Avenue. Mixed property, local designations were approved by City Commission on June 6, 2023 meeting. It's on the local designation map, and then city website is also updated to show the map. And then
Yeah, thank you for that map and the list, that was really helpful.
there are a couple new businesses. So I to email you all the information, resources that you could use to prepare annual reports from the city commission. Let the staff know if you need a more resource or any particular documents, who definitely can help you with that. And then the last one is next targeted meeting is going to be October 2nd, 2023.
I don't know if this is the place to bring it up, but it sounds like it fits in with what you just said. I noticed that you sent out in your package the list of initiatives. And this list of the initiatives is very similar to what we have been discussing for the last couple of years. In fact, they're right on the money in terms of what we and Mike were discussing as a board for months. So I'm wondering, going forward, I assume this will go into our presentation, but also, how do you envision us as a board working to move these initiatives forward? Since I think been agreeing on these all along. And I think all of us have said repeatedly that we need a planner. And that planner is gonna be necessary full-time if any of these are gonna get done. So I would like us to really prioritize that. And I know, I've heard rumors that there's some money in the budget for us to help move towards that, and so maybe you know more about it. There's some people went to budget meetings, so can you maybe just, go into a little bit more detail about these initiatives, who put them together, how do you see us working to accomplish them, and how can we get a planner, basically?
This is definitely not a staff level discussion. I am not sure, the budget meeting, I haven't been able to attend it, but the meetings about, let us know if you hear from it, but my understanding, city is not planning to add a position for the historical, or another way is the historic, specialized planner. It'll be a great idea, but that's not, something that we are aware, and that's not something that staff can, it's hard to say, it's not something that, I don't think the department even further, the development department has planned action for that one, but definitely it'll be nice to have it.
Is there a recommendation you could make to us as to how we can just move beyond the talking stage on this? Because all of these initiatives like getting a historic district and so on, we're not gonna be able to do that meeting every couple of months as a board, doing the day-to-day legwork, and I know your office is busy doing other things as well. So if we can't get a planner, these things won't happen. And so I don't know how we can make that clear. I guess we just need to get it on the agenda at the commission and just get up there and get a lot of people to come up and support this and let the commission hear our voice. Is that it?
Yes, that's a wonderful way, definitely, that's a wonderful way that, if the commission, hears from the board members directly.
Yeah, well, Amanda's already made a recommendation for her department, and I'm sure there's not a planner, historic preservation planner in her plans. So, I plan to be the one who makes the dog and pony show at the commission meeting. Everybody should plan to be there to support, the dog and pony show. Which, the dog and pony show, I envision seeing it, we're gonna tell them how we got here, how we even got a historic preservation board, which was a fight in its own self. And then we're gonna talk about what we've done, which includes that lovely map that you did. I would like to see some photographs of the different things, not great big pictures, just little, that we can, so they can see, the lights, the cemetery, the stanchion, over the railroad tracks.
So you would like to see the photos of all the local destinations?
It'd be nice to see the
Yes, yes.
thumbnails of, you don't have to do all of them, just thumbnails of the, whatever ones we have thumbnails of. Crop them, make them small and, we can identify them on the map so that the commissioners can see, the ones that we've done. There's, on the map, you did that one. What we've done the Rosenwald plaque, we worked on that for a while. The medallion that we selected, and also we succeeded in amending our ordinance. So those are the things that I have listed that we've done. Can you think of anything else that we've done? Thinking? Nobody? Good, okay, very good. I'm sure, Jay will think of something. The wish list is my to-do list. And I've identified which on the wish list we would be able to do if we had a plan. So I think that having a spreadsheet that says the to-do list, and who we need to do it, and how much, and our time frame. Those are my 4 categories. So, and which ones, the other thing that, the whole thing about the brochures and stuff, all those were already done. Do y'all still have copies of those brochures that we did from the beginning?
Not that I'm aware of that, but I can definitely speak with Amanda if we have a brochure.
Warren should have left us a folder full of brochures that show the different styles of the houses. Wooden vernacular and Spanish, Mediterranean. And then we did all these brochures, they are already done. With the procedure of how, if you're interested in having your home designated, here's the procedure, and all these brochures are already done. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel.
I will definitely find it and then email board members.
And, what else? Public awareness campaign, that's important. The history wall in the old high school, that would be a good thing that we could do. That we could also do a lot of things in conjunction with the Historical Society. Some of these things on your list are things that the Historical Society is already doing. Like the history walks, the tours, what else is on there? Programs. No, this is all from them.
Okay.
This is my regurgitation of that. Yeah, we do programs, oral histories. We're still trying to collect oral histories. We have a member that's working on a centennial book who's been collecting, little written thoughts, people's memories of what Boynton was like when they first got here. And that'll be in our centennial book, only a couple of years late. Funding for the plaques. I've had conversations with Andrew Mack on the plaques. The big Rosenwald plaque. I don't know if everybody's had an opportunity to see did you see the Rosenwald plaque? It's really nice, wasn't it? Isn't it nice? Well, we could buy 2 more plaques. I have money. I have $3,400 that I control in the Historical Society Fund. That we could buy a plaque for in front of the old high school and a plaque for in front of the Children's Museum. But we need to work on the wording of it, which is something we need a planner for. We need the planner to work on the wording. Okay, what else? Improve communication and awareness of endangered sites. And to let the commission know we need money, we need funds to buy the medallions for homes that are on the register. I'd also like to see us have an addition to the ordinance. I don't think there's an ordinance right now that says that things cannot be demolished unless there's a replacement plan already approved, correct?
You mean for the historic designation property or?
Yep, any. That you can't demolish something unless there's been an approved plan in place.
Correct. You can't just go ahead and then demolish it. Even if it's demolition, you mean the removing local designations, you have to go through the commission hearing.
So it's already.
Well, no, that's different, that's a different can of worms. To remove the designation, like the gentleman was saying, he'd have to come before the city commission and ask
Yes.
to have the designation removed.
Yes.
And we'd be allowed to weigh in on that, obviously. No, this ordinance would have stopped the house next door to the Magnuson from being demolished. Because they just demolished it with no plan to replace it with anything else.
If it's not local designated, if that property is not locally designated, then they can demolish it without the city commission approval. It's through the permitting process.
Okay, so is there an ordinance on the books right now that people cannot just demolish something without an approved plan in place? Not necessarily historic preservation, just.
Yes, they can demo the plan, demo the structure without the approval plans. As long as they go through the permitting and then they can demolish it.
So there's nothing to stop somebody from demolishing something without letting the commissioners know what's to replace it.
Replacement is not required for the structure proposed for demolition.
Okay, I want
Unless
us
it's,
to do that.
unless it's historically designated.
Correct. If it's a property is historically designated, they cannot demo without the,
But it's not tied to the replacement.
No.
See, I wanna tie it to the replacement.
Approve the demo, but there's nothing saying,
There's nothing to tell us what,
what are you gonna do with it?
yeah, why are you knocking this down? What's gonna be in its place?
so are we talking, we're not talking about the locally designated property, you're talking about the general buildings, correct? Just wanna clarify the two different things.
It would have to do with historic preservation as well.
You mean, okay, if the property is if the property is not locally designated, property owner has a right to demo without any replacement. They can do the demolitions.
Other cities have the replacement requirement.
That I'm not sure, the cities that I've been worked before, there's no requirements for the replacement. They have to go through the process, permittings and reviews, but they do not have to have a replacement plan. I'm talking about the structure demolition, I'm not talking about any other land clearing. That's not what we're talking about. Are we talking about the land clearing or are we talking about structure demolition?
I just wanna stop people from knocking things down willy-nilly without, this has been happening all throughout the city, all over the place. They're knocking down basically historic structures. The Gables, that was the name of the building next to the Magnuson, was the Gables. They got demolished. They got wind of us doing a historic preservation program, and in 2 days it was gone. Toast. So it would be nice to slow it down at least enough so that, if we had a planner, a historic preservation planner, like Warren used to go out and document these homes that are, basically historic, they're of a certain age. And he would document them before. I think there's something written in our ordinance that's supposed to slow down. If we had a planner, that the planner would be able to slow it down and go document the house before it's demolished.
I do not recall for the provisions, but definitely I can looking into it if we have that code that supports that, encouraging it, such actions, we can definitely look at it.
Yeah, I would bet that it's in there, because we made sure that, the planner could go document. That's how Warren found that house that had flattened oil cans in the wall. They were demolishing it. Well, anyways, all right, back to the to-do list. So,
I mean, do it.
yep, we also want to replace the QR codes and the stanchions. Yep, we wanna make sure to get the bell in a safe place, which I found the bell over at Public Works. Supposedly,
I'm sorry,
In
but,
storage,
yeah, no, you know where it was? I almost tripped over it, outside of Public Works, in the weather, sitting there in the weather. The bell from the Coquimbo. So it's supposed to have been moved, the bell, into a safe place, and there was supposed to be something done to get it on display somewhere, either in the lobby of the city hall or someplace. And we wanna get the Bernard mural displayed someplace.
I would suggest with the bell somewhere over by the cultural center for everybody coming in.
Well,
Inside,
it's,
of course, but not
Yeah.
just as a suggestion, where
I mean, we could
everybody's coming in.
see if they put it inside the old high school there.
Yeah.
I'd like that too, but where we put it, I mean,
It's pretty good size, but it's not gigantic.
About as big as this chair.
Yeah, probably, that big around at least. It's not very tall though.
Could put it in the
So,
walkway around.
Well, when you first
There
walk
are-
in, it's right there in that corner.
anywhere in there,
Mm-hmm.
people.
Well,
pass
the
by.
point is to get it in a safe place
Right.
and get it recognized for what it is. The QR codes, I told you that part. Okay. And our website, Jay and I communicated about the website and they already put up the links to the Historical Society, which is good. So, thank you guys. Grant research and application and administration, that's definitely a planner job. And we want to consider the historic importance of Leisureville, Sterling Village, Hampshire Gardens, and all of these little communities that we have. Because they did contribute to the fabric of our city. And also historic preservation, we are the Historic Resources Preservation Board, and it's not just buildings. We have artists in Boynton, like Conrad Pickell and Bernard Thomas, and these artists need to be recognized. So, can anybody else think of anything that I forgot on the to-do list? I didn't give you everything, but the CLG status, you know, in order to have CLG status maintained, we need to have a planner. I don't know how we're sneaking by that one. You know, the requirements to maintain our CLG status.
SAPA has been, prepared their reports and updates, every year annually, and then forward to the states.
Yeah, there's quarterly reports, isn't there?
I don't think, not that we are aware, it's annual reports, and then we do, end of, October, we forward to the state.
Okay. The survey update, the FAU interns, significant buildings list that Mike already did that one for us. Potential historic districts, research create, oral history of Boynton Beach. We need to delve further into Black history. Our Black history is kind of spotty. You know, we got Victor now, so that's really good news. Because Victor can, if you don't know it, you know somebody who does.
Well, since you mentioned my name, I was trying to think of that park that on, right on the corner, I think is for
Dewey?
the Black, is that no, is it the one on Woolright across from the cemetery?
Oh, at Harmony Park.
Okay, there was a park by some Black person in that area, I can't remember the name, I thought it had something to do with that park or somewhere around there.
No, Harmony was one of the mayors.
Okay, there was I can't think of the name of it, but, I'll have to look it up. There was a African American prior to the town of Boynton that donated some land for a park, and she was rich.
Pence.
Is that him?
Was it Cullen Pence?
That might be, you know,
I don't know if Cullen Pence was black or white. I don't know what.
is that it?
no. No, Colin Pitts, was involved with the, school board, and he did donate, he was involved in the Rosenwald, discussion, but I don't think
No, that would have been somewhere down by Woolbright, I think, but, like you said, we need to get more history of it, you know, but yeah, he was one of the early pioneers, and he donated some land, but I can't think of where they put it, what the park was they put it.
It wasn't, you're not thinking about the land for Poinciana, was it?
No, this was, before they even created what we call it that. This was,
You see, our information is sketchy. You know, we need to gather more information.
I have to get more information on it, but
And somebody was, from the, Historical Society was gathering oral histories. You know, it'd be nice to get the oral histories before some of these people leave us.
I presented the couple to the librarian up there, I think the one for Edith Palmer, and then for my uncle, Herman Meeks. I had recorded one, and I was gonna do another one for, someone else, but I know they were doing the same thing. I don't know if you guys were talking to each other from the Historic Society and the library.
Yeah, I think that, the oral histories that the Historical Society had gathered
Mhm.
have been surrendered to the archives, the
Okay.
city archives. So, yeah, because we don't have any place to keep stuff like that, so everything that the Historical Society would have has been given to the city archives. Okay, so further on my list, improved communication with the Historical Society. We need to improve communication with the community and the commission. Make an awareness of endangered sites, like the one we just talked about tonight. It'd be nice if we had some commission funding to pay for the medallions for the homes. Alright, so anybody else think of anything else? Ben, did you think of anything else?
I think you covered most of it.
But I plan to make a spreadsheet. And our spreadsheet will have our to-do list, like I said, and who needs to do it, and how much it's gonna cost, and the time frame that we'd like to see it done on, so. I see 3 components to the Dog and Pony Show. How we got here, what we've done, what we wanna do. Does that work?
Works great, thank you.
Does that work? Can you think of a different way? No?
I had a,
I think we want to visualize some of this too, right?
Visual, yeah, well, I've got,
It's
some
got pictures.
I've got pictures, yeah, we wanna make it full color. I'd also like to, you know, the postcards that I have, you know, I wanna jazz it up. You know, like boats and fish and, you got any good pictures?
I actually had a question.
Oh,
The list that we have, that they collected of all the different historic places, is there a contact that if we were to send something out to them saying, do you have someone that has history or oral history that would like to present history about that particular structure? They say no, they say yes, and we don't have any. That's a good opportunity to get oral history from someone associated with that particular
Mhm.
property.
To
I don't
do
know if we
the-
even have any of those, for any of those properties, any written or oral history other than what we present.
well, there's all kinds of stuff in the archives about it. Warren wrote reports on everything that we did. Are you thinking to have them come to the Dog and Pony Show? No,
Well,
because the commission
No, not
says,
on that, this
you
is,
know,
this is
10
kind of,
minutes.
where you were saying oral history,
Mm-hmm.
and we have sites. And my first thought was, well, how many of those sites do we have oral history on? If we have none or a few, and we have contacts for all of them, could we possibly just send out a generic letter that says, hi, we're collecting oral information on historic sites, yours is one of them, do you have any?
All right, I'm gonna add that to my list.
Easy, quick way, since they got the list.
Yeah, where did I put that? There it is, oral histories.
So you guys got us working, and you got the list.
Yep, oral histories on the stuff we've designated, right?
Let's see what comes back.
Now it's on our to-do list now. You can't think of anything else?
So did I hear correctly, this will be presented in October? Is that when you're looking to have it presented?
I don't think we've chosen a date yet.
No,
You-
so the ones that I referenced in the October meeting is for next day, historical resource preservation
Okay.
day. But whenever you are ready to present, it's city commission hearing is first Tuesday, third Tuesday, so twice a month, anytime. Just let us know, and we or city clerks will be able to place you on for the next available commission.
Okay. Well, don't sign us up for October yet. Any thoughts? Any more thoughts? No?
Quick question, you mentioned, I'm looking at the, bear with me one quick moment. At the COG website. Is that a requirement to have a planner, excuse me, have a planner to receive that, or?
Yeah, supposed to be. It's supposed to be to maintain our CLG status. I think that's one of the requirements, but I don't know how much of a benefit it is to be a CLG, because I don't know if we've gotten any funding or, grant money. I'm not sure there's been anything offered from whoever takes care of the CLG stuff.
Would that be a planner? Is that why? It goes in a big circle, huh?
Hey, they do your assessment.
So the way that currently the code requires reports every quarter reports, but that has been actually changed. But our code has not been codified that one, so it requires it once a year. That's within the team has been updating that CLG report and then forward to the states.
I'd be interested in seeing the last one, please.
Absolutely.
Maybe you could email it to all of us. I think it's something we need to read,
Yes.
because we might be able to find more stuff to add to our to-do list for the non-existent planner that we're not budgeted for. Okay, anything else, you guys?
I just have one quick thing. At the last meeting, we had talked about moving where the website is on the main menu for the city. I noticed some of these links are in more than one category, like I think the arts and culture are in 2 different categories. I really don't think historic preservation should be under business. I know somebody had mentioned that this will probably change once you get this finalized, but I see it's still under business and no one is gonna find it looking under businesses. If you notice, visitors and residents both have the art link. So it would be nice, the art and culture is there, it's also under residents. So businesses is not for us. We're closer to the library and arts and culture than we are business.
Totally. The city is actually really actively working on, and I don't remember the exact day, but very soon they have a new platform for entire city websites. I will definitely reach out to ITS departments to ensure that historical resource preservation website is a link, not under the business, but definitely linked to the art and culture as well as the planning and zoning. So we will make sure these are all connected and available.
And if you could even put just a separate link up there that says history. I know there's not much room, but maybe you just push in the or something. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really fit under any of those really, really clearly. But I know people do like to look for the history. It's one of the things when they go into a city website, they want to look at the history. Sometimes it's right there, on some city websites. So that would be nice to do.
I will definitely.
Thank you.
Well, just to add, if I were to look at it and I look under the title historic preservation, I would kind of not really know that it's about the history of Boynton versus it's under the business. And I think we are under planning and development. Is that what you said, ma'am?
We're
The historic preservation board is under somewhere planning and development.
Yes, it's under, development department, on the development department's planning and zoning.
So that's how we ended up under business.
Planning and development.
No,
Businesses.
it is, I think it's just simply ITS at the time that we were doing the web design, it wasn't really knew what each department does, that's all I can think about it. Again, yes, we did brought up that issue, again, the city is about to launching a complete new face of the website. And then we will definitely, still it's a draft version, but they share with us, but we definitely can have inputs to ITS. Make sure the city, the historic resource preservation website is connected and through the available different parts of the website, including arts and
I mean, it's kind of mind-boggling that there's nowhere on that site where you can learn about the history of Boynton Beach. I've never seen a city website where you can't click something that says history, and you know, like what Warren did in that report. It can be just, you know, it doesn't have to be really extensive. And as Chair Reedy mentioned last time, put the books there that people can have, that they can get to read more about the city. And you can put historic preservation under history, you know? But historic preservation itself doesn't tell us anything about the history of the city. So no one really
Right.
knows anything about our history. When you go into the city website, it makes no sense to me.
I think that was one of the things we was talking about, adding us into the visitor center somewhere.
Oh, yeah, that's on my list too.
Yeah.
Did they get that going yet, or what's the story?
I saw on the first floor, they're on the construction, I saw the boxes, they were putting together, I saw the big TVs, and so definitely they are working, on.
Boxes and big TVs.
Yeah, well, I think that they're gonna have a digital display for that, informational center, and I've seen it, I think definitely they're working on it, but again, I do not know when is the official opening date.
Well, I was just saying, like, under visitors, history of Boynton, that would be a good place. The title, historical preservation, doesn't really say history. So, you know, like when you go to visitors, you're right, what's the history of Lake Worth? Go under visitors, there it is, what's the history?
Mm-hmm.
Our
It's,
history should be its
it's
own
kinda,
place.
doesn't look,
Well, the city archives probably would be the place where,
look forward to the new menu.
But you could see, that's something else you could put under history tab, history, historic preservation, city archives.
Yeah.
You know, history can have a large presence and a lot of separate little
we want our own
subcategories
tab.
too.
We want our own tab.
Well, I think a lot of cities do that.
The new,
Now I'm really pushing it, right?
the new website, that is a totally new vendor that's putting, is it gonna be just a total brand new?
Interface,
No, I don't think they know. Okay, you guys have anything else for us?
That's all.
You're good?
Yes.
Okay. Craig, you gonna speak to us? Are you still speaking to us?
Good evening. It was a good meeting, there we go.
Alright, so what's on the agenda that we haven't done?
that's it.
Comments by members? Did anybody have comments? No? Okay,
One comment,
one comment.
on the Andrews house, I'd really like to know the status of that roof. Whatever, you know, that can really cause problems inside, depending on the amount of damage. Cause I think that's what's the issue over at the old schoolhouse, it's the roof, and then
We don't wanna do it, we don't do it.
Oh, the old high school?
the old high school.
That was
Yeah.
another demolition
Yeah.
project.
Right, but, you know, other than that,
It's funny that Warren didn't notice it though, I mean, maybe because, maybe he needed to do Google Earth or something, so. He
Google
was-
Earth shows the, you know, granted, it's probably a year, 2, 3 years old.
Yeah.
But it shows the roof in what looks to be good shape,
Yeah,
but, you know,
It may not be that bad, yeah.
I would like to see the results if they're a private person that goes in and emails Warren.
Mhm. Well, I think they were kind of hoping that we would say, okay, let's just knock it down, but no, watch my mouth, no. Anyways, all right,
See, I just saw the plaque program, you just had it up there, that could go under history too.
well, there should be, I have a historic home.
Preservation,
I think my home is historic, what can I do? What should I do? You know, like, Victor, how did you guys find out? You know, did your mom call Mike Rumpf? How did that, you know, what did you do? How do people find out? And how do we make that better? If we need to make it better. That right there's a postcard there. I have that postcard. We have to
What
get-
year in Mason said, wagon?
You're asking me? I don't know.
I know it's right.
Chevy maybe? You said a Chevy. Okay, that's it. Anybody have any more? So, you know what we need to do though? We need to get together and work on this Dog and Pony Show. I'll make it for better progress, and maybe we should work on it in October 2nd, our October meeting. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
we can do that, I just don't wanna wait too long to present it.
Well, it's too late, the budget's already,
I know, but it's just, it's like, you know, we wanna get this on the radar as soon as we can. I'm willing to help
okay,
with this, you know, we keep pushing you know, kicking the can down the road on this planner stuff, and I want this in their
I
face.
know. I know,
And then we can
drives all of us crazy, believe me, I know. So what was I gonna say? Oh, historical society programs are gonna be starting up soon.
Can I have a question?
Mhm.
On what the gentleman said down there is a meeting after. When is the next meeting after this meeting, the following meeting? I mean, he said October, is there not one gonna be in November, or is it gonna be in January? Cause that's what I'm kind of feeling that with you, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, maybe there's not gonna be one in November.
Well, you know,
Now that's pushing it back.
if we decide, October that we wanna meet in November, I think we can. We just ask them to put it on the schedule,
So I'm so sorry, I couldn't catch that, what was?
that's all right. At the next meeting, October meeting, we may very well decide we need a November meeting
To try and finish up the dog.
to try and get the dog and pony show going.
Because if we get back next meeting, it won't be finished.
Yeah, and we're not gonna wanna
If we get
do,
it up done, we
Yeah.
can decide.
we aren't gonna wanna do it in December, I know that, so.
The reason I couldn't, we finally found that this email was sent out to us from the ITS department about the new city website. It's on your screen, probably you can see.
So that's a demo.
Yeah, so this is all new look. I think it's not final yet, but they are working on it.
I know what I forgot to tell you guys. We also did a commercial back in the beginning. There is a commercial on YouTube that we did, like a before and an after, when we were trying to convince the commission to let us do a historic preservation program. We were trying to guilt them into, you know, this is what it used to look like, and now it's rubble, it's empty. And there's a commercial that we did. And I bet you it's still someplace in I'm gonna look for it, because
Please,
I don't delete anything.
please share
Fair
with us.
warning, fair warning.
Please share with us.
Yeah, because we worked hard on that commercial, we put music to it and everything.
Again, we may not have a whole lot of inputs, how the website will be designed, but definitely as of today, based on what we see, it's under planning and zoning.
Yeah.
But we can definitely have that link, under different parts of like arts and culture, or we still hear Boynton history. the separate page, we can definitely have the links to here to be, the historical preservation board is, available from this thing too.
It'd be nice to work on that history part, that's kind of
There's
very abstract, more than the history.
definitely Cliff Notes. There's so much good information in those reports that Warren does. You know.
It's like he has the different eras.
Mhm. It'd be good, I don't know if you can do a link to those reports. Let people, I wanna see, I mean, there's so much information in those reports that he does.
You can,
You like the history records and PDFs where you can click on it.
Mm-hmm.
and see.
And let somebody, if they wanna sit down and read 34 pages or something. Well, we got lots of retirees in town. And also, we need to find more bodies. We gotta have some more people. And you need to fill out the application form to get promoted, okay?
Okay, is it online too?
Catherine, is that online? Thank you. Otherwise they're gonna be like putting, oh, we got 3 appointees, and they're gonna put them in over you. I would prefer you don't do that.
You should make mention that you are currently serving as an alternate requesting to be moved up.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Thank you.
I
Good
don't
job.
know, but-
Yes,
Okay.
please promote me.
Thanks, Mom.
Okay, anything else? If there are no
I make a
objections.
motion, we adjourn.
Oh, is there a second? Wait, we haven't-
Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
All right,
I want to talk.
we're excused.
Well, the meeting's over, you